Hi guys, and welcome to another Dragonheir Silence God video. Guys, welcome back. I've been off a few days. Hope you had a good Christmas time. Mine was amazing, but after Christmas I caught this flu that basically left me without any voice. It took me a few days to get it back. Now I'm finally start to talk a little bit, and I wanted to get back into the grind and release some content for you guys. And I want to talk about Vortex today, but before we get into that, I want to say thank you to all of you guys that have watched and subscribed and liked my content. We reaching out almost to the 2 second months of my content creation adventure, and I am able finally to give something back to you guys as a content creator. The developer of Dragonheir Silence God have given me 10 codes giveaway for 4 Starlight Dice and 320 War Marrow. I know it's not much, but it still help, especially if you're coming up in the game and you're not a spender. There's still good resources that you can use. And I just want to give it back to the community as soon as I can. Therefore, here we are trying to make a video for you guys. So to be part of the giveaway, you have to be subscribed to the channel, like this video, and put in the comments down below a comment that contain the words giveaway. In the beginning of 2024, probably in the first couple of days, I will get back to this video and select randomly 10 winners. I will release the winners in a video down the line, and we're gonna get in contact. I'm gonna get in contact with you through Discord to share the code with you. Or if you can't do that way, maybe we find something different. But that is the way I'm thinking right now. On that topic, also, guys, there is a new promo code in the game. You should go out down here where it says service, and in here you should type icing death. You're gonna get some goodies. Let me show you what you can get. It's not much again, but it still help. It's 1 Starlight Dice, a bit of gold, and 15 more marrow. I'm gonna collect that, and I'm gonna start getting into the video. So guys, finally I'm getting some result in Vortex. I've been working on my comp. It's still not perfect. I still need a lot of gear, but we start getting some good results. As you can see down here, I'm getting almost 11 million. At 15 millions, we'll unlock level 4, but not before I've reached level 35 in game. We're level 31, so it means that I have 4 days to work on my gear and my champion to get them up to do those 15 millions and then step on stage 4. But on stage 4, we're going to deal with another layer of difficulty, which is going to be the decreased defense. So I want to show you my comp that I'm using right now. I want to give you some ideas for something that you can use probably for doing this and to reach stage 4, and some composition for stage 4. Champion you can swap in, swap out, and deal with all the mechanics of the boss. It's going to be pretty simple, straightforward. We're going to work mostly around a couple of champions per affinity pairing, which are, in my opinion, the best for this season, for this affinity rotation. And then we're gonna leave it a little bit open around the damage dealer, because every account is different. I don't know what champions you have, and maybe you're gonna have better champion than what I have, so you can improve what I'm talking about. But let's jump into my comp so you can see what I'm using so far. And obviously I have embraced the sensation of the season, the Ice Blast team. I don't have any legendary, and so I am currently using this team that you can see on the screen. I'm using Furbat, I'm using Garius, and then I'm using my couple of Ice Blast champion Bledin and Girthin, and then to conclude it, I've brought in Voresh, mostly because he has a multi-hit ultimate skills. 2 plays the decreased defense. I want that decreased defense or defense penalty to be up most of the time. As you can see, my gear is not even finished. I still need to farm some runes. I need to get better gear. I need to get them to the right set of gear, not just some random pieces here and there. But so far so good. We're getting to 11 millions, probably getting the champions up and improving the gear set, getting the right stats, getting some runes will easily bring me over the 15 millions. But when I will reach stage 4, I will not be able to use this comp anymore, because mostly we are getting to the point where we're going to start thinking about the 5 team affinity to improve that, getting that 15% damage improvement for the team. And then all those bonus that comes after that. We want to get everybody in the team do the maximum they can do, and having a 5 team affinity, it's the way to go on the long run. We don't need to do it from day one, but ideally we want to work on that premises. Obviously, Ice and Radiant this season are compatible. Furbat is the one that's going to drop off from this comp. I might have to drop off Vortex as well, because of something we're going to see after. But this is the comp I'm running so far. If you want to have a look at the gear, let's start from Garius. Garius is going to bring you the defense or 24% in all battle. It is very good for this because it allows your team to survive for way longer. I've built mine with defense percentage, and then I've looked for defense percentage or HP. I need him to be the highest HP champion to take the single hit from the Vortex. And then I've used the Scarab Amulet. Here as well, I can, work on this one, bump it up, start getting those legendary runes that I've not farmed yet. Complete the gear and maybe get some different gear on this champion. Is gonna improve his support. It does damage if you build him with it. Last season I got him with a decent crit rate and very high defense. It was dishing out some good damage overall. So don't underestimate that. The second champions we're going to talk about is going to be Furbat, and you can see he's just in epic gear so far. He's going to be my decrease attack champion in this comp. I have not geared him with the Crown Clean, mostly because he has a single hit ultimate, which doesn't really makes the defense penalty land very consistently. You can go that way and bring a third damage dealer if you want. If you have another Ice Blast champion, you're welcome to do that too, and just place the decreased defense over here. Possibly you're gonna have a better results with that, or at least on stage 3. When we go to stage 4, then we're gonna talk about something different over there. The next champion up is going to be Vortex. I built Vortex because it's giving me that little extra healing that helped me run for longer. I haven't been completing his gear yet. I need attack percentage, chest, and gauntlet. Possibly legendary status to increase his attack hub, to increase his heal, and to increase his damage as well. I need the negative rune. I don't have any for ice. I mean, I have only 2, but they are on the other champions because they are for damage dealing. I built Bladin with the arcane music box to give him crit rate, because I need him to be up to 80% crit rate. So he does basically grant Ice Crystal all the time on his passive, and that improved the damage for Gerdin. He has a multi-hit on his ultimate. He has a multi-hit on his ultimate, and this can be also used with the Crown Clean if you want. If your comp is in necessity of a multi-hit ultimate, you can definitely use him. I built him with attack percentage, crit rate, and then I'll look for crit rate on substats on the top one. I got this pairing going on because it gave me a little bit of attack, so I bring in a little bit more damage at the end. But that's pretty much everything I've done on him. As runes goes, as you can see, I don't have much. I have this crit rate over here. I'm happy to change them as soon as possible, also because I'm a bit over with crit rate, so I don't really need that. The last champion is going to be Gerdin. Gerdin is built with the Manticore statue. Manticore statue give you extra damage bonus on the battle skills, and the Ice Blast champions do a lot of damage on that battle skill, so you're gonna want that. I am building her again, not with the right gear set obviously, but I'm building her with what I have. I'm looking for crit rate, I'm looking for attack percentage, I'm looking for a crit damage, possibly with crit rate on the subs. I don't have that, so I ended up to having her around 50% crit rate. She has attack again and random negative rune. That's what I have. She does a good amount of damage. I need to bring this one up to 20. As soon as I will do that, the attack will go even higher. And then I need to keep working on my gear. DT pretty much work in a very simple way. I can show you the timing. I want Garius to do his healing at 27 seconds. This is basically between the two hits on the second skills of the boss. This is because, sorry, on the first skill of the boss on the second round. This is because basically I noticed that my team was dying around that moment. I was getting hit by his ultimate, and then by the first skill, Annie was chopping down my lower defense and my more squishy DPS. And so I place it between the two hits. So you get the first hit, you heal back to full, and then you get the second hit when you are full HP. Furbat and Varesh are basically stuck out to heal across the rest of the fight. The team is going to stay up almost full heal for the entire time until they get one shot, basically. And then I have time Varesh to place, Furbat to place the attack penalty at 14.5. You can do even 15. This is just to land it just before the double hit A3, and the ultimate will stay up for the ultimate as well. I'm time Voresh to place the decreased defense at 12 seconds. So every other hit pretty much usually lands on decreased defense. Obviously, I've not timed my Ice Plus champion because they have a quite short recharge, especially Gertin. She has 16 seconds and 10. I want her to go ham, to just be free to do damage. She's gonna hit all the time. And again, most of the damage is coming from the battle skills, not from the ultimate. Timing the ultimate to hit or decrease defense will probably not change much. So I just want them to be free to do their damage anyway. So this is the team and this is the timing. Now I want to jump on different comps and talks about what champions you can use and give you an idea for what is going to be on stage 4 of the Vortex. So I am in the gallery right now because I can show you all the champions, not just the champions that I own. And here we can talk about what set of skills we're going to need for Vortex stage 4 and what we're going to need to plan to bring our comp to deal with the task of stage 4. It's going to be the same as season 1, so if you play season 1, you know what to expect. The boss is going to hit harder and is going to place decreased defense on your team. So basically, you need to come up with a comp that is able to deal with that. Now, if you are not passionate about Vortex and you need a bit of a layout, you need to bring a tank that is going to be your highest HP champion. Is going to be hit by the lightning A2 of the boss. Is going to have to sustain a single target hit. It's very important that he's your highest HP champion, one of your tanks. And you're going to need to bring a decreased attack champion. The boss hit hard, especially when he's on his ultimate. But also during the other skills, the hits are ramping up pretty quickly. The damage will ramp up the more you survive through the fight. You're going to have to take off the decreased defense that is going to place on stage 4 on the first hit on the A3. That double hit when it's slashed twice with his hand. And you're going to take it off, and otherwise you're going to take a lot of damage. Any champion that brings a defense or defense buff, shielding, damage reduction is welcome for this fight. Once you have covered basically all of this requirement, you need to bring your defense down champion, which can be one of the champion we talked before, and you're going to bring your damage dealer, usually 2 damage dealer. In some situation you can bring even 3. Now let's start to talk about the champions, and maybe let's start from fire. And I'm not going to talk about legendary. I forgot to say I'm not going to talk much about legendary because legendaries are so rare for most of the player base. If you have them, feel free to use them as long as they cover the skills we talk about, and you have a lot of them, just use them. I don't know all the legendary in the game because I don't own a lot of legendaries, and I find quite interesting to find solution with epics and rare, and that is where my main interest revolve around. So today we're going to focus mostly around rares, and epic. I'm gonna insert one legendary because it's a free to play one, which is Erich, but it's DPS. So as we said, DPS is just your best DPS, so don't worry too much about it. But in the fire affinity, so fire and necrosis, fire affinity has one of the most interesting pairing because they synergize so well together, and they are Isolde and Adolphus. Now I don't have Isolde. I really would like to have Isolde. She is amazing for this fight. She brings the defense or 24%. She has an ultimate that plays the attack penalty 100% for 10 seconds. She has battle skills that grant defense up to ally within range, which is the champions around her. And she has a passive, the shield grant by hero reduce the damage taken by 15%. So you're gonna have defense up, you're gonna have shield, you're gonna have attack penalty, and you're gonna have the defense aura. The kit is absolutely amazing for the fight for the Vortex. She covers so many roles, and if you have her, you should definitely consider using her. Scroller and user. Deep pairing with Adolphus is also incredibly good because she plays shield, and then if you need heals, basically when Adolphus plays for the passive, when he places a shield on top of a shield, 75% of that additional shield you're placing is going to be converted to healing. So that is absolutely incredible. You're going to sustain your team for the fight. You're going to be having massive shield for Adolphus, and you're going to be healing back. And he has this second parts on his battle skills where you basically boost the energy of the ultimate energy by 15%. If you're using the timing, probably it's not going to be that impactful, but it can find its place in the fight. So depends on your comp you're running. Now, this pairing only lacking one thing, which is not able to deal with the defense debuff that the boss is going to give you. But luckily enough, this season, fire is paired with necrosis, and in necrosis there is an amazing champion, which is Megan, that has this ability, basically grants defense up and recovery over time with all allies, and she dispels the defense penalty from them when casting a skill. So if you time it right, she's going to cast this skill right after the boss plays the decreased defense on your team. You're going to convert that to a defense up. You already have defense up from Isolde. It doesn't matter, you're going to have defense up for the entire fight. She's going to bring recovery over time, which is going to keep your team running. And she's going to bring extra heal with recharge of the ultimate energy as well. So if you want to get your damage dealer to run faster, you can do that too. With these three champions, you basically cover all the requirement to deal with the skills from the boss, and you have 2 slots for your damage dealer. I personally will go for Wild. It's still proven to be a good source of damage. For the Vortex, I heard that they probably nerf Flora. I don't have Flora. I'm using Tonadan, which is probably one of the best damage dealer epic in the game, at least for bosses and single target, as this passes but basically stocking up. She's stocking up crit damage for the fight. She has double blade dealing damage to target 3 times, and then she has an ultimate to hit 5 times a single target with attack up on the champion. So she's doing massive damage. Last season was by far my best damage dealer, and I am curious to see down the line when I'm going to build my wild team how it compares to the Ice Blast, because I haven't tested yet a full comparison, when we're going to have that good gear with a high crit rate. But she's wild, so you need to pair wild with wild, and the best champion you're probably going to have is Erich. Erich is free legendary. It is not amazing, but it's still a good legendary. I've scrolled mine, and it does a lot of damage. He has a 5-hit meteor strikes on his ultimates on the area, but when the boss is like a single target like Vortex, they all hits on the same boss. You can place the Chrono Clean as for example on him. You have 5 hits to place that decreased defense. It's gonna be up most of the fight. He summon a flame pillar under the enemy, dealing 300 attack damage to enemy during range, and gain 50% damage bonus if only one enemy is hit. And this is going to take place through the fight, obviously, because the Vortex is only one. And increase the hero wild success rate by 5% every time an ally perform a successful wild check, up to 14 stock. This basically is going to stock up through the fight, because obviously you're going to get those successful wild check. And this is going to increase until basically it's going to be always doing wild check all the time. You're going to give wilds to each other, and they're going to deal a lot of damage. In my opinion, 4D Fire and Necrosis is still one of the best couple for damage dealing. Necrosis doesn't have really incredible damage dealing champion for the Vortex. If you're talking just Vortex alone, I will consider building this team if I was you. Especially if you have those 3 support champion that we spoke before, Isolde, Adolphus, and Megan. But let's jump to the next affinity and let's see what we get over there. The next affinity pairing up is going to be Poison and Lightning, and here we have an amazing duo as well. They are split between the 2 affinity, but their synergy is absolutely incredible. So your tank is probably going to be Furbath if you're doing the Poison and Lightning comp. Furbat is an absolute monster. It's just a shame that his aura doesn't work on the boss. It's only for dungeon. I think if he had an aura in all battle, it would be absolutely incredible. He basically plays the attack penalty on the boss. He creates this nexus around him, healing your team back, and he's gonna, every time he deals damage, he has 30% chance of healing the ally with the lowest current HP by 100%, under 50% of his defense. So he's gonna basically keep your team up all the time, top up with the health, and he's gonna place the decrease attack. You can use the Chrono Clean on him. It is not a multi-hit, but he's gonna be up for most of the fight. And you can pair him with Vikuk if you want to remove the defense down from the boss. Vikuk will also bring additional attack penalty on the boss during the fight on his battle skills. Battle skills are different to time, so it's not the best. He's going to remove the defense penalty with his ultimate. But in my opinion, Vikuk for this fight is outclassed by an epic in the Lightning affinity, and that epic is Nathaniel. Nathaniel for this fight brings so much more than Vikuk that I can't even compare them, to be honest. But obviously, if you don't have Nathaniel, you can use Vikuk. He's going to do the job just fine. It's not going to be as efficient. Nathaniel is amazing for many reasons. So the first reason is his ultimate. It deals 550 attack lightning damage to enemy within range, so it also brings some damage. You're not going to build it for damage, but it adds up. And granting 10% targets max HP plus 1800 enlightenment shields and defense up 1 to all allies for 10 seconds. For each enemy hit by the skills, the shields increase by 10%. This last sentence doesn't work because obviously we have one boss only, but you're going to have a good amount of shield and defense up. On his battle skill, he dispels 1 debuff from allies within range and grant them with 1 stack of recovering over time for 5 seconds. Now this one, if you time it right, is going to always take off that decreased defense during the fight. It's more difficult to time because you need to play a lot with your stats to try to keep it always in that window between the hit of the boss and the ultimate. But if you manage to do so, you have a champion that's going to come in, remove your defense down, bring the defense up, and shield your team and heal your team. He also gonna bring with his passive additional healing for every buff on your team that's gonna expire. So every time those buff on your team, if you have other buff someone else bring, well, every time they're gonna run off, they're gonna have extra healing, 5% max HP, and you're gonna see that pop off during the fight. And it's absolutely amazing. He was in my team last season, throughout the entire season, and I'm planning to use him as well, depending on what route I'm gonna go down. But basically, with 2 champions over here, you have the opportunity to deal with, again, with the entire mechanic of the boss. You're going to place your decreased defense, your decreased attack. You're going to bring a lot heal, shields, remove the decreased defense, increase defense. You don't have a defense aura, but beside for that, you basically have a good core of sustained champions over there. And you can either bring 3 damage dealer, or you could bring another decrease attack champion to basically keep the decrease attack on the boss through the entire fight, because Furbat decrease attack lands only for 10 seconds. You have 10 seconds knock cover. You can bring a second decrease attack champion and have that decrease attack for the entire fight, depending on what way you're going to go. You can choose to go in and do maximum damage in a short amount of time, or you can try the sustain route and build your champions with more survivability, place the decreased defense, the decreased attack down, decreased attack for the fight for 20 seconds over 20 seconds, so you get 2 champions placed in it, and then you get 2 damage dealer. As far as damage dealer for this fight in particular, I will probably consider go for Dauntless. Poison has some good damage dealer in the epic, for example. Holas does good damage, but Poison is very difficult to build for the Vortex because you need a lot of stats, and I don't find that very efficient. You can go with Eli and Sigrid, for example. They both do amazing damage, but they are not the best in my opinion if compared to Dauntless. Now I have a good Dauntless couple of legendary. But if we are looking at the epics, I think Shelter is a good shout out. He's really more of an enabler. He doesn't. It's a weird champion. You're gonna use the ink veil of the ink of whatever, I don't remember, is an artifact that basically improve the passive damage, because all this damage is coming from here. He does a lot of derivative damage because you're gonna trigger that derivative damage all the time with Dauntless champions in particular are in the team. You're gonna create these fields and you're gonna see the hits going out most of the time during a fight. He is a very good champion. He does amazing damage in the right setup. If you're looking for Dauntless champion in the epic category, I would suggest having a look at Nimbus, for example. Nimbus is a very good one. He has this multi-hits on his ultimate. He's going to dish out a good amount of damage, hitting most of the time, many times. You can increase the number of hits by increasing the attack speed. He's going to give himself attack speed. You can give attack speed for the gear. And yeah, I mean, he is absolutely amazing. Yes, Shelter, Nimbus. I'm not super confident about the other Dauntless. Epic, Shagroll can do damage, is not the best, to be honest. But if you're lucky enough to pull one of the legendary are absolutely crazy. I have Suta and Garrett. They do crazy amount of damage. And if it's decide to go with the 2 damage dealer and you want to bring another decreased attack, you can look at Yola. Yola has a decreased attack penalty on her ultimate, so you can stack them up 10 second with Furbat. She does a good amount of damage, so you're not going to bring in a champion that just do that. She's going to bring some damage too. And the other options is obviously Irina. Irina has as well a decreased attack penalty to 100% on her ultimate. She does a good amount of damage. She has this ability that on the boss is not really efficient, but she's still going to bring damage. And with her passive, she's going to grant shield to one of the champion nearest to her. So you can probably play with the layout and get her to protect one of your squishier champion. This affinity in particular, in my opinion, it's really good. The only downside is you don't have a defense aura in here. But if you can make your team survive through stats from gear, you're going to bring a lot of damage, and is probably one of the best comp out there at the moment. So let's jump into the last one and have a look at what I have layout for you right there. So guys, for the last affinity pairing, we have Radiant and Ice. Obviously, In Radiance, we already seen Darius. We already know how good it is with his increased defense aura and his massive heal. And if you have that legendary artifact that grants you shields if you overheal, he is a perfect candidate for that. It's going to stretch the fight so much longer that you can't even imagine. It's going to double basically your damage on the Vortex. Is just broken with that set, with that artifact on. I don't have it. If you're lucky to have it, enjoy it, because that is the cheat code for season 2 apparently. But nevertheless, the best pairing in here is going to be Catherine, because Catherine has that immunity debuff on 20 seconds on basically your entire team, as long as you place them in the shape that she places them. So you're not going to have to deal with the defense down. You're basically going to have healing through the entire fight between Catherine and Darius. Is going to be amazing to keep both together. It's going to be amazing to keep your team up. They're going to deal with the defense down. The only thing they don't have is an attack down. And to be honest with you, there are not many options. When we select the attack penalty, you're going to quickly notice that, okay, those 3 legendaries are amazing. If you have any of them, you should use them. But then you start looking at the epics and rare. Let's forget the rares for a second. You're going to have Gum, which is not really good. He has attack penalty 1 on his battle skills. And you're going to have Dueling, which has as well attack penalty 1 on his battle skill. I don't like battle skills because they are difficult to time. And then you have Nissa and Clovis. Nissa has attack penalty 2, 100% for 5 seconds on a battle skill. It's not ideal. I think it's more difficult to time. It's more difficult to keep up consistently when you really need it. But you can play around with the gear. It needs a lot of testing to try to get it out at the right time through the entire fight. But if you manage to do that, you're going to have decreased attack for 10 seconds, splits into windows of 5. So you basically can cover, for example, the ultimate and the A2, which are 2 of the skills where usually your team basically gonna die. The ultimate is that massive blast, and the A2 is the single target hit on your tank, so you can keep your tank alive for longer. Her ultimate also hits the target a few times. If I don't remember wrong, she hit the target twice, so she's a good candidate for the Crown and Clean. You're gonna have it up for a good amount of time, obviously, through the fight, because double hits gonna increase your chances quite a lot. And she has an attack or 24%. If you're going down the route of kill it quickly and do the damage quickly, you can test that out too, instead of using the increased defense aura from Darius. The same aura that Darius has, Clovis has as well, is a defense aura 24% the entire fight. He also brings the attack penalty on his ultimate. He does also reduce the ultimate energy by 20%, so you need to be careful with your timing. You need to plan your timing around that. It doesn't really bring much else unless you build him with the protection set. He is very tanky. He's going to make himself more tanky for the fight, increasing his defense. He's going to get 30% more defense over here. He has defense up for 5 seconds on his battle skills. So if you build him with the protection set, he's probably going to be a good candidate to soak up that extra damage from your team. 15% less damage from the AoE on the rest of your team that he's going to soak up and take less 15 damage. So he's a good candidate too. So only Nissa and Clovis for me from here. And when we jump to the ice, we have Irion. Irion is a very good tank. He has also the attack penalty on his battle skill for 5 seconds. I am not massively sold on that yet. And you have Vinyara, the legendary, which has it on his ultimate, on her ultimate. She's absolutely amazing. If you have it, you should use her. But when it comes down to epic and rares, in my opinion, there are only really 2 options. There are Loris and Gardeus. I'm gonna exclude Pargo because it's really not reliable. He plays 3 buff out of the 6, so you're never gonna know what you're gonna get out. Sovelis comes up here and his passive he plays it, but that mechanic was not gonna work here on the boss. The other 2 rares are actually decent. Gulal, you get it from the storyline, and he plays it 100% attack penalty 2 on his ultimate, so you can potentially use it. I don't know the damage output of that champion, but obviously you're gonna have to think about the sustainability of the team. Gargers is a good option. He plays it on the battle skills, again, difficult to time, difficult to have up all the time when you need it, but you also bring this recharge speed penalty, which can be a complication. Obviously, you need to reconsider your timing. It's not going to be a 20-second fight anymore. And again, it's only battle skills, so not ideal. Loris has a decreased attack or attack penalty 2 for 10 seconds on his ultimate. It's very good. He's naturally tanky. He's a decent tank. I've used them a little bit in the Otherworld exploration last season because I didn't have any good tank on the ice team. And yeah, I mean, probably my best pick over here will be Clovis or Nissa. Still debating between the two. Clovis has his ultimate, Nissa has on a battle skill, but she brings a multi-hit ultimate that can be good for the Crown and Clean. I'm gonna need to test them out. I'm probably gonna end up building both of them because we're gonna need them down the line for the Otherworld exploration. So at some point I'm gonna see what is the best of the two, but yeah, I will probably settle for one of these two. As far as damage dealing goes, you know, for this affinity, Rally can be an option. I don't think that Rally does particularly well. I love Huber. He's an amazing damage dealer, but you always rely on having that Rally buff on. Otherwise, if it runs off, it's not like Ice Blast or other, where they basically up and they stay there for quite some time. You can time it off and enable him using Tatlib. I'm not sure that the two of them are bringing more damage than, for example, the Ice Blast couple we saw before. I think probably these two epics are going to bring more damage than them, and that say a lot. Bleeding is a good damage dealer, but you usually just bring it to enable your main damage dealer, which is either Gertin, or if you're lucky and you have Beldel, you should absolutely use Beldel. She is a monster. She destroyed the boss, and she is incredible at doing crazy number on this fight. But that being said, Gertin is a good option and good alternative. I'm loving how good she is. The fact that she is sort of similar to Tononan in a way. She doesn't need full crit rate, and because she gives crit rate to herself. So yeah, she does so much damage, guys. So pretty much this is it, guys. I went through all 3 affinity pairing for the moment, and I've shared with you what are my thoughts. What do you guys think? What are the routes you choosing? What teams are you preparing for Vortex 4? What is your strategy? What is your account saying to you? What damage dealer are you going to bring? And what sustain group are you building around them? Let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't done it yet, please like and subscribe. It'll help the channel grow and come back with more giveaway in the future. The more we grow, the more view we get, the more like we get, the more subscriber we get, the more packs and the better packs I will be able to share with you. So again, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon with another video about Dragonheir Silence God.